By day, Dennis Rader was a balding, bespectacled family man loading his kids into the car for school and kissing his wife Paula goodbye on his way to work. Neighbors saw him as a normal, church-going father, a Cub Scout leader and president of the local Lutheran Church Council, always ready with a friendly wave. At City Hall in Park City, Rader donned his uniform as a compliance officer, zealously patrolling for stray dogs and unkempt lawns. He took his job seriously. Residents often spotted him pacing off property lines with measuring tape, checking grass height, and writing up code violations. To some, he seemed helpful and diligent. To others, his badge came with a bullying streak. He wore a badge and would swagger around the street like he was above the law. I always considered him a bully, recalled one neighbor, who bristled at Rader's stern enforcement of city rules. Still, nothing about Dennis Rader stood out as necessarily alarming. He blended in perfectly amid church potlucks and scout camping trips, doting on his wife and children in public. Women at church even admired how attentive he was, always holding the door for Paula and helping her with her coat. In all respects, Dennis Rader projected the image of a polite, reliable middle-class father. Each week followed a comfortable routine. Sunday mornings, the Rader family filled a pew at Christ Lutheran Church. Dennis sang hymns, passed the collection plate, and chatted easily with fellow parishioners over coffee after the service. Weekday evenings, he was home by dinner time, grilling burgers in the backyard, or helping his son with his Boy Scout merit badges. He volunteered at scout meetings and led camping excursions, teaching knots and survival skills to wide-eyed boys. Around neighbors, he spoke warmly of family values and community safety. By the mid-1990s, Rader's 2 children were growing up, and he delighted in ordinary milestones: school plays, birthdays, church youth events. Nothing outwardly indicated that this devoted father and husband had a monstrous secret. Inside the Rader household, Paula and the children noticed only some small eccentricities. Dennis's fussiness. He insisted on tidying up any mess, and his need for alone time in the evenings down in the basement or garage. They thought little of it. After all, he worked hard. If he needed a solitary hobby like tinkering with his tools or writing in a journal, that seemed harmless. Yet, beneath the bland smile and civic responsibility, Rader led a double life. In the shadows of his home, after the family fell asleep, he indulged his dark compulsions that no one suspected. He kept a secret stash hidden away, a locked box tucked in a corner of the basement or garage rafters, containing what he called his projects. In that box were mementos that would have horrified his fellow church members: stolen jewelry, driver's licenses, and Polaroid photographs. Rader had been quietly photographing himself for years, staging elaborate self-bondage sessions when alone. In these disturbing images, he posed tied up in ropes or leather straps, sometimes wearing women's clothing or a grotesque mask, even donning items taken from murder scenes. His camera's flash captured him in contorted positions, sometimes gagged and bound, as if he were reenacting the torture of an unseen victim. These secret Polaroids were the outlet for his twisted fantasies. Rader cataloged them meticulously and hid them where no one would find them. Late at night, the seemingly ordinary man would gaze at the images of himself trussed up, or flip through scrapbook clippings of old unsolved murders with a rush of illicit excitement. No one in his family or community had any idea. Dennis Rader, the genial father, the scout leader, the church usher, was living a lie. The same man who liked to help little old ladies with their groceries was also a sexual sadist, stealthily feeding an inner demon he called BTK, short for Bind, Torture, Kill. The facade was perfect. As one investigator later remarked, he was exactly ordinary. He went to work, he went to church, he went to Boy Scouts, he did family things, just an ordinary guy. Dennis Rader's relative normalcy was his camouflage. It allowed him to hide in plain sight while nurturing unspeakable desires in secret. Desires that had gone dormant but never fully disappeared. What you just heard was a preview of Resolved, the cases that did not fade into mystery. The killers were caught, the truth came out, but the stories, they're just as wild. Hear the full episode and more like it only on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/unresolvedpod and subscribe now, or click on the link in the show notes.